Hello and welcome to the third episode of my podcast, Who Asked You? So I know I just did the second episode a few days ago, but I felt that I already had the topics to do another one, so I decided I would do that today. It's a rainy day outside. It's thundering, if you hear that. And I wanted to go work out, but I couldn't do that because of thunder and lightning, obviously. I don't want to die. Though I've gotten caught in thunder and lightning while jogging before, and that was not a fun experience, as you can imagine. So I'm rambling already. But I was supposed to work today also, and I didn't have to because they were overbooked at my job. So I've kind of just been chilling all day. I work in my parents' restaurant, and they already had a bunch of people on the shift, so they didn't need me. I got up at 9 for nothing. Usually I'd get up at like 1. So 9 is real early to me. I mean, I get up during the school year at like 6:30, but I'm going to get into my list of topics. Like I was saying, I wrote these on the way back from Cosco, which is just the worst place ever. I talked about at the beginning of the first episode how I hated Walmart. I believe Costco is even worse than Walmart, if that is possible. If I don't know if you've been to Costco, it's this big store. You could buy restaurant supplies and just 1,000 things. It's just kind of like a supermart or supermarket. No, supermarket's like a grocery store, but I need water because I'm getting delirious. Like they had those used to have those giant Walmarts. Like it's kind of like that. If you ever been to a Costco, and people are even dumber, I think, than they are just at Walmart. But we'll get into that a little later. First of all, I got the game Sims 4 yesterday. I've been a big player of The Sims for 4 years or so. I think for my 12th birthday, I actually got the game, so like 4.5 years I've been playing it. I never played Sims 1 or 2. But I decided I had some money saved up, so I decided to just buy Sims 4 at Walmart. They did not have it at GameStop, and I haven't been to a GameStop in a couple of years, and when I walked in there to get the game, I saw it hasn't been renovated or updated, at least mine, since like 2011 or 2010. Like they didn't even have, I think they had a few PS4 games, but they didn't have many. They didn't have any PC games. Didn't have many new console games. I didn't see any on Xbox One. So I think GameStop must be kind of stuck in the past. I'm gonna predict now that they'll probably go under in the next 5 years just by walking in there and seeing there's this same fat bearded guy working there from when I used to go there as a kid. And at least the GameStop in my area. I don't know. Maybe there's still cool GameStops elsewhere. So I felt like I had to mention that. But I had to go into Walmart to get the game, and Walmart, like we've established, is a dumb place. Just has no use to society, really. I mean, to get your basic stuff you might need, I guess, but you probably go elsewhere, really. There's really no need to go into Walmart. But I was looking for the game, so I did. And there was this guy in front of me. They were having a lot of trouble scanning some bracelet he wanted to buy. He was like a 50-year-old man. Don't know why I wanted a bracelet. A little creepy. Probably handing them out to children. But I got The Sims 4. It cost about $40. I think it was like really expensive when it first came out, which was 2014. It just took me like 2 years after it came out to get it. And I want to talk about what I like and what I don't like about it. What they've changed since Sims 3 that I do like, and what I don't like. The main thing I dislike about the game is the controls are just kind of hard to manage for me as a longtime Sims 3 player. There is no wheel that I'm used to, like to rotate the angle, and you need to have like a pull down bar from the top if you want to zoom in and out, which is irritating for me. I'm used to the buttons. I'm playing on my Mac also. You should used to play on my PC. Hey, what's up, P? Thanks for watching. Camera focus again. Okay. And that's the main thing that's bothered me a lot. And another thing, if you want to go to the world map, I'm talking about The Sims 4, by the way, for the viewer who just entered on YouNow. It's the first episode being streamed on YouNow, by the way, here on episode 3. If you want to go to the world map, you have to hit the M button. It's kind of complicated, I feel like. There's not just a little button in the corner like there used to be to open that. And I couldn't figure it out for like the first 10 minutes I was playing. I had to Google it. So the controls bother me a little bit. What I do like, though, is there's a bunch of new instruments and stuff to play. Like, I tend to have my Sims be musicians a lot of the time. There's pianos and violins and stuff now. There used to only be an acoustic guitar. That was the only thing you could play. And another new thing I do like is that you could have kind of group conversations that actually flow fluently. In the last game, there was just group conversations where you could sit there awkwardly in a chair and the other person would be kind of just standing there. And that was one of the things I didn't like about the last game. Are you going to sing? I don't believe so. Am I under musicians or something? I'm just talking about the Sims game. I'm not. Actually, I am a musician in real life also, but I'm not much of a singer, more of a rapper. And where was I? The group conversations are better. That's one big thing. Sims, yeah, it's a simulation video game. Played for a few years. Which Sims? The Sims 4 is the one I'm talking about now. I just picked it up yesterday. I'm talking about the pros and cons of it pretty much. Recording a podcast also. So that's why I'm just talking to myself kind of. Group conversations, and I'm forgetting the last thing. What was it? I don't know. There was one other thing I liked better. I've had it since Christmas. Oh, what do you think about it? Yeah, but my final verdict on it pretty much is it's not quite as good as Sims 3. I think they lost a lot of the basic gameplay type of thing that made it fun. Like, it was just simple. Oh, I remember now. You can't click on your sim and just find him wherever he is in the map. I like Sims 3 better. Yeah, same. I don't know how to travel. Yeah, that's the problem I have. I don't know how to open the world map. And you, in Sims 3, you can just click on your sim and it'll take you wherever he was or she was. And in this game, you don't have that anymore for some reason. But I see potential with the game. I feel like it could have turned out really good with the additions they made, and it's also the graphics don't look quite as realistic. I feel like also it's kind of a downgrade actually, which is weird because obviously new technology, a newer game. They should have made a pets for Sims 4. They still might because I know they always release expansion packs for a few years after it comes out. So I'll move on now. I guess that's probably all I have to say about The Sims 4. The graphics are better on 4. I mean, maybe. I guess it probably depends on if you're playing like PC or Mac. I play on Mac. I think PC... Is PC known to have better graphics? I'm not really too sure. Not much of a gamer in general. I just play The Sims and like a couple games on Xbox, NBA and stuff. Hey, what's up? Wendy G _ 29814. There's a lot better CC too. Is that what CC stand for? Yeah, I'm not savvy with that stuff. But I'll move on past The Sims. I'll get into a story that happened to me in real life last night. So yeah, that's just my little review of that game. I'll probably play it a little more before I customizable content. It's kind of cool that I stumbled across another Sims fan here. But yeah, I think I'll play the game a little more before I decide whether I love it or hate it. Somewhere in between now. But that's just how I feel about that game. So the movie theater story is the next thing I want to get into. I saw a movie last night with my parents. It was called Free State of Jones. By the way, be sure, let me know when you do. Okay, yeah, sure thing. Be sure to become a fan so you see my broadcast in the future. Yeah, so I went to see a movie last night called Free State of Jones with my parents. It's a movie about the Civil War. Hopefully you know what that is. Happened in the 1800s. Divided the country. Those who wanted slavery still and those who didn't. And I'm not going to summarize the movie or anything. I also don't want to spoil it. But what ended up happening towards the end, I think we had about a half an hour left. To be honest, the movie was a little boring to me. I'm not that into historical stuff. So the screen just randomly shuts off, and we didn't know what happened. It was that kind of a cliffhanger, too. The guy was just pointing a gun in the villain's face. And we were like, what the fuck? Because we wanted to see what was about to happen. And the projector just totally freezes and starts chopping a lot, and we sit there for a minute hoping it might come back. It doesn't, so we walk outside of the theater and we try to find someone that can explain to us what is happening pretty much. And it's just this young girl. We saw the movie late at night, by the way, so the people working, I think, kind of just wanted to go home at that point. So I can't blame them too much for what was happening. They didn't know that we were the only ones in the theater, because that movie is going out tomorrow. It didn't do well anyway, and we saw it late at night. So it was kind of a perfect storm, as one of my parents put it, which is why our projector ended up getting shut down. But there's more to the story. So they came in and they tried to figure out what was happening. They talked to the guy in the booth. My mom was waving like, "Hey, hey!" Like, what's going on? But I don't think she realized the guy couldn't hear her. And they were talking to the guy up there who shut it down, trying to figure out what happened. So then he proceeded to skip a minute at a time through the entire movie. It's like an hour and a half, so that's gonna take just forever. And we were just sitting there waiting for that to work out. The girl kept apologizing. She was very nice. My mom was a little pissed off about it, so she might have been kind of taking her anger out on the girl. I was gonna try and tell her it's not the girl's fault. But yeah, they were just trying to shut everything down because they were ready to leave and their shift. And they eventually, the guy comes down and tells us, "I'm sorry, it's just like a really old projector, which is why it's not working. And we can give you each of you, 2 free tickets to see two different movies in the future." So we thought that was cool. My mom still was kind of mad that we didn't get to see what ended up happening. It was also inconvenient because the movie was going out of theaters the next day. So that kind of sucks for us, I guess. I didn't really want to see the rest of the movie anyway, to be honest. And I'm going to get to see 2 free movies because of this inconvenience. I guess they just didn't want us to complain to management or whoever. So I'm really not mad at what happened. It was kind of funny because they all just wanted to get out of there, and they decided to turn off the projector because we were also sitting at the top of the theater, so they couldn't see us. So it's like a lot of things had to go wrong for what happened to happen. Okay, so what should I get into next? Let's see. Let's talk about Costco now. I went there today. Like I said, on the way back, I was writing notes for this podcast. And what I realized is that I actually hate it even more than Walmart. I've talked about why I don't like Walmart. I'm going to get into Costco now. And somehow, the first thing, even though Costco is a bigger place, somehow it's still more crowded than Walmart. And, I mean, the people at Walmart are just looking, for the most part, although they're dumb, they're just looking to get in, get their stuff, and get out. It's more for necessities and supplies and stuff when you go to Walmart. At Costco, people are mostly shopping. They're mostly just looking around at all the cool TVs and different technology, which causes them to be very slow. And me and my parents, when we go in there, we're actually looking to get supplies for a restaurant. And this is very inconvenient for us because people just don't give a shit, and they just are concerned about what they want to look at. So at one point I said, "Excuse me," to some woman, and they have attitudes also because she turned around and looked at me, just the ugliest face, like what the fuck? Like I never did anything to you. I was just walking by her. It was kind of a tight squeeze. And there's also no reception in the parking lot of the Costco I go to, which is annoying, and just trying to find a parking spot among all the people who just like tiptoe across the street with no care that a car is right behind them. It's an atrocity, really. So that was just a quick little rant on Costco I wanted to get into. What else can we talk about here? I have a bunch of notes. Just don't know how to get into some of the stuff. Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton, the FBI director guy, made a speech on whether or not she would be indicted. It turns out that she won't be, even though she acted carelessly with her emails, which is BS because a lot of other people in her position could have done the same thing and could have gotten fired, not have been allowed to run for president. But of course, since she's so powerful as she is, it's not going to affect her. So that's sad for me to see as a Bernie Sanders supporter, and it looks like he's not going to stand much of a chance at the Democratic convention now, which is coming up pretty soon, probably 2 weeks away. So that was sad news for me to hear about. Since we know now that she's not going to get indicted, there's barely anything to argue, I feel like. Although I do feel that there's a good case for Bernie running third party. I think he could actually, considering that most of America hates Trump and Clinton, I think that he would have a pretty good chance of getting a majority in that case. He'd only need 33%, and I think that, Jesus, I think that would be doable for him, I was going to say. So yeah, politics is kind of actually pretty quiet right now compared to a few months ago. It's kind of like a break period between the primaries and convention, but I'll probably be talking about politics more on this podcast as it kicks back up once election season starts. Yep, the two worst candidates to ever run pretty much happen to be against each other. They're the only person each other can beat. I heard someone else say. I'm not going to take credit for that. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to do, I wanted to look at my New Year's resolutions that I made at the end of December, and I want to go through and see what level of progress I'm making on those. It's mostly a personal thing, but I figured it'd be entertaining for you to hear about also. And I'll read to you some of the stuff I wrote to myself. So I gave myself consequences, like if I don't achieve certain things in certain amounts of time, I have to do certain negative things. So I'll read you what I wrote to myself. This is so weird. If you haven't accomplished 4 of 7 of these credits, then I, your prophetic self a year ago, can confirm that you are a disappointment, that we are a disappointment, I said. I like to put myself down. I find it funny. I'm not actually this sad. You need to knock on... wait. I'll read you the funny one. If you haven't done 2 credits, you have to walk up to 20 people in the hallway, 12 of which girls, that you don't know. You have to say, hey, I just peed myself. Can you walk me to the bathroom? Due 2 weeks after the start of the new year. So that's what I'm going to be faced with if I don't get this stuff done. I give myself little consequences. I don't know if that's something I'm actually going to do, that I'd have the balls to do, but I'm going to try to make myself if I fail. I want to, weight-wise, you can tell I'm pretty overweight. I want to lose 40 pounds, 7 pounds per month by the end of the year up to this point. There's, like 5 or 6 months left. I don't know if that even works anymore. Yeah, no, it still does. Then I had goals with my music. Let's see. I want to finish a Tragic Outlook on Holiday Season, which is going to be the holiday EP I'm working on. I'm going to finish, I want to finish that by November. Then album 3 by December. That's what I have planned with that. Let's see, what else is funny? I felt like there was funny stuff in here. Grades, I just said fuck them. That's not exactly a good example. Girls, this is the funny one. I finally found it. I said, haha, in your dreams, fat loser. I put myself down so much. That's cringy. Fuck you, go masturbate. And I said, okay, fine, have a female friend by the end of the summer. It hasn't worked out so far, but I guess I'm going to try on that. That's all. I guess that's the only funny part. This is more awkward to read for me than anything. So let's get back to my list of topics. Let's see. I wanted to talk about people who hop around in relationships a lot, like someone who is with one person one day, they break up the next day. The day after that, this is a metaphor, but they're with another person. Just that they get in and out of relationships very quickly, because the reason I feel they do this is that they need to feel validated. They can't validate themselves. I might sound like a bit of a dick. And they do that by constantly being in relationships. Like, the more people they can rack up in their tally of who they dated, the more self-worth they could have. I'm not trying to put anyone down, by the way. And I also don't want to be sexist, but I feel like this applies mostly to girls. I mean, I'm sure there are guys that do the same thing, but I've seen a lot of this in girls a lot of times. Not that all girls do this. Again, this is just certain people. Something I've noticed that has bothered me that I wanted to talk about, that you shouldn't do because it's not really healthy. Because they'll break up with someone and they'll be just that they were so in love with. They'll cry about it for a week, just post about how sad they are. Then look at another relationship the next week and they'll be all butterflies and rainbows again. Like, nothing bad ever happened. Like just last week, you posting sad pictures, you making really tragic faces. Yeah, it's just something I've found funny. And one more thing I think I'm gonna do here. So I mentioned at the beginning of last podcast, and I'm watching a show on Netflix called Shameless. It's a great show. It's about this woman named Fiona. She has 5 brothers and sisters that she has to raise on her own because her dad's an alcoholic and stuff. It's a very fun show to watch. It's a new addition to Netflix recently. But one problem I do have with it is that there were recently I saw in an episode there were 3 sex scenes in a row, and sometimes I'm just watching this in the car or somewhere, and I don't want someone to be back and see what I'm watching. It's kind of embarrassing because they think I'm watching porn or something. Really, it's just a TV show. Like there was a gay sex scene, then there was a sex scene that I'm pretty sure is pedophilia, and then another one, and I just feel like despite the fact that I like that show, that's gotten to the point. I'm in the 3rd season now where it's kind of out of control. So yeah, I think that's everything I had to talk about. This was longer than last episode, so kind of want to keep these over 20 minutes. And I got 2 fans on You Now today, so shout out to those people. If you want to watch this podcast on YouTube afterwards, it's going to be up on my YouTube channel, which I'll link in the bio of this page. So I hope you enjoyed just hearing me chat for a while on this rainy day outside. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to do another one, but once I accumulate the topics, I'm going to try to probably make it within the next 2 weeks. You know, I just want to constantly keep the wheels moving in my head so I have things to talk about, because it's just something that's fun for me to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Weekend's coming up. Doesn't really matter to me because it's summer. But peace out.